Tonight on Coyote News, USD students have been in Halloween mode since last week, including a costumed 5K for children's literacy.
Yet reporter Mandy Ewald met with a man who wears a costume all year long, and USD students get creative with costumes.
Plus, Coyote basketball kicked off the season yesterday, but there are already injuries, and a local fraternity out-of-state formal got out of hand. Those stories and more coming up, but first, news headlines with Courtney Sterrett.
It's been downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone, but Hurricane Sandy still caused a lot of damage. Sandy made landfall around 8 Eastern Time Monday night. More than 2 million people lost power between New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut, and there are 30 U.S. deaths reported so far. The economic toll from the storm is expected to exceed $20 billion. With just 6 days left before Americans pick their next president, President Obama and Governor Romney face the task of refocusing attention on the election, while millions of voters have been dealing with the hurricane devastation. After a weekend break, Mitt Romney started up again today in Florida, and President Obama is expected to begin campaigning again tomorrow. And Donald Moeller was executed by lethal injection at the South Dakota State Penitentiary in Sioux Falls last night. It was punishment for the kidnap, rape, and murder of young Becky O'Connell in 1990. O'Connell's mother, Tina Curl, says Moeller's death brought her relief, but not closure. And those are your headlines.
Thanks, Courtney. The annual Farber Forum joined with Congress to campus this week to bring 3 former U.S. House representatives to USD.
First off, I just want to thank you guys.
Former South Dakota Representative Stephanie Herseth Sandlin joined her husband Max Sandlin and former Florida Representative Dan Miller in talking with students about today's greatest problems.
They've not been able to pass a farm bill, which is absolutely critical. The Senate has not passed a single appropriations bill, which tax cuts are expiring January 1st.
The 3 also discussed the importance of college students voting in this year's election.
I mean, these are significant issues facing young people today that have dramatic implications for our competitiveness, for jobs, for the health of the planet, for the health of our families.
Congress to Campus is hosted annually by the Political Science Department. The 3 former representatives also visited classes and held open forums across campus. A USD fraternity had to cut its weekend formal short after reports of underage drinking. Phi Delta Theta held its fall formal at the Jackpot Junction Casino in Morton, Minnesota. Casino General Manager Brian Pendleton says about 30 minor and consumption tickets were issued by tribal police. He says the casino frequently hosts fraternity formals, but this was the first time the police were involved. Pendleton says the casino wants groups who haven't caused problems to keep coming back, but this group won't be encouraged to return. Dean of Students Kim Greaves says the incident is still being investigated. She says the university handles situations differently when they happen off campus, but students will be called in to talk about how their actions have impacted USD and the community.
It's finally Halloween. Local stores generally expect increased profits from selling candy, handicrafts, and costumes, but not all costumes are brand new. Some are put together from previously owned clothes. Coyote News' Dan Bell tells how consignment stores thrive during the Halloween season.
Halloween is here, and that means everyone is looking for their costumes. One idea that has been used are the consignment or thrift stores.
Vermillion has 3 within town, and they are actually great places to go to get full costumes or get specific items to meet your costume's needs.
Secondhand stores have always been known to carry particular articles of clothing. We spoke with Kelly Hernandez of the Civic Council to see when they start promoting.
Yeah, and we started putting it out in September, so we put it out early to get the customers in.
The stores can see an increase in sales during the Halloween season.
I'd say probably 50% increase in customers.
Whether it's profit or non-profit, these stores contain merchandise that have been given to them by donation or by someone who's trying to make some extra money. For Coyote News, I'm Dan Bell.
Hernandez says consignment stores offer students a way to be creative while still saving money.
While the Vermillion consignment stores offer great options for costumes, USD students use their own creativity to come up with some original ideas themselves.
A red Solo cup, Or a mermaid.
A Smurf. Smurfette.
Hellboy, because he's awesome. I was thinking of being the Cookie Monster.
I'm going to be myself because that's the best costume there is.
Wolverine.
Vector from Despicable Me.
I don't have a clue.
I'd like to be a spaceship and launch off of every chair I see.
A Greek princess.
I think I might be Jenna Marbles.
I'm going to be a Dalmatian because my girlfriend's going to be Cruella de Vil.
The Sundrop Man. Oh, and pop rock and drop it like it's somebody's business.
Cat.
I'm going to be a Cherry Street prostitute.
I'm going to be him.
And I'm going to be her.
My favorite monster?
President Abbott.
Alien.
I'm going to be Wonder Woman.
I'm going to be a wolf.
I'm going to be Waldo.
I'd say French toast.
After seeing the drag show, I'm probably going to dress like one of them.
Naked, probably. That's what I'm hoping.
On this week's Coyote blog, Chris Jessen is confused about what holiday it is.
Happy Halloween, I think. This weekend I was shopping in Sioux Falls with some friends, and I couldn't help but notice some holiday confusion. In many stores we found Halloween-themed merchandise, but they also already had displayed their Thanksgiving stuff. Some places even had their Christmas goodies out already. Really? Halloween isn't even over yet, but we need to get people started on buying their Christmas lights? I believe that's a great commentary on our society. We just can't seem to embrace the now. I get that some people really love the Christmas season and they want to get started early, but why can't we just stop and enjoy Halloween first? Or Veterans Day, or Thanksgiving, or every non-holiday day that comes between now and December 25th. Every day is precious, so let's enjoy them. Halloween is a great holiday. We get to dress up, tell terrible jokes, and get candy. Why do we need to just jump right over that and get into Christmas and snow and Santa Claus? So I'm making it a point to avoid the Christmas aisle until at least midnight strikes on Thanksgiving and the Black Friday craziness begins. Because there are so many things to enjoy before it suddenly feels a lot like Christmas everywhere I go. For Coyote Blog, I'm Chris Jessen.
Thanks, Chris. A Campus Honor Society is enjoying Halloween by bringing a new event to campus this season. On Sunday, the Mortarboard Honor Society hosted its first Trick or Trot 5K. The race was organized to raise money for its national philanthropy, Reading is Learning. President Wade Wilkinson says it's the goal of the group's members to make a difference on campus.
It's an honor society that honors seniors who are heavily involved, do well in academics, involved throughout the community and the university.
Racers could either pay the entire entry fee or they could donate books to lower the cost. There was also a pumpkin patch to raise the money. Books are being donated to area schools and hospitals, and proceeds will be donated to improve literacy programs.
The community was huge in donations. We got donations to Subway, Dairy Queen, Raziel's, Cafe Brûlée, USD Catering gave us all the food and water. There's a guy down in the pumpkin patch just south of town that gave us all the pumpkins. That's about the only thing we paid for. Almost everything that we have goes back into the philanthropy.
The 5K was Mortarboard's first philanthropy event of the year. As a Halloween-themed event, runners were encouraged to dress up in costumes for chances to win prizes.
In the spirit of Halloween, Pi Beta Phi and Lambda Chi Alpha found a new way to help people in need. Each year, Lambda and Pi Phi split the profit for their respective philanthropies. Allison McNamara says half of the money raised goes towards Pi Phi's national charity. Lambda donates the money they earn to local food pantries. In the past, the haunted house has been held at Lambda, but Jordan Smith says he's happy with the change of location.
Our half of the proceeds from the haunted house go to First Book, which is an organization that gives books to children in need. Then we have booklets for them and do a program with them in February.
We have pretty much a whole new setup this year, so we went to the maze. Traditionally, we just did room by room. One really big advantage of it is that we don't have to actually do it in our house. Like, there's a lot of maintenance with putting up the tarps, like stapling them to the walls and stuff.
This year, the haunted house raised more than $1,500. Classes, tests, papers, and other daily stresses make it easy for college students to forget about helping others. But that's not always the case. Coyote News' Andrew Ferriel joined in the Coyoteopoly food drive to see how students give back to the community.
While the season of giving is still around a month away,
That didn't prevent around 30 student volunteers from gathering at the B School for the Coyotopoly Food Drive.
Volunteer organizations included Enactus, Golden Key, AWOL, and the ROTC.
This is the oldest running Coyotopoly project, the food pantry is. I want to say this is about its 8th or 9th year running. It's been very successful in the past, but it's been a major project for the food pantry itself. We provide over half of their annual donations.
Specific donations to the food pantry include cereal, crackers, hamburger helper, scalloped potatoes, mac and cheese, canned fruit, peanut butter, rice, canned meat, soup, and chili. To maximize these potential donations, Coyotopoly prepared well in advance.
We worked hard through the first part of the semester, did a lot of advertising, and now we're just trying to give back to the community, raise some money for the food pantry.
But it wasn't all about raising money. Golden Key stressed the importance of volunteering.
It's extremely important because there's so many people in even Vermilion, such a small community, that can use the help, and there's certain situations where you don't know someone's story, you don't know why they're in such a position.
For Coyote News, I'm Andrew Farrell.
The group say the food drives aren't restricted to members of the organization. Any student wanting to make a difference can participate.
If you found a cell phone ringing on the street, would you answer it?
Angelica Brackens joins us live in the muck with the director of a USD play that answers this question.
Thanks, guys. And I'm here with Callie Heisick, the student director of the play. Thanks to Callie for joining us.
Not a problem.
Can you tell us about what the play is actually about?
Sure. Jean is sitting alone in the cafe when a cell phone begins to ring. And after a while, she goes to answer it and realizes that the owner is dead. And the whole play is about her immortalizing Gordon and helping him live on in the minds and hearts of his loved ones. But the characters are a little quirky and a lot of fun. So that's pretty much what it is in a nutshell.
All right, and can you tell us what some of your jobs were as student director?
It involves casting, finalizing some of the design elements that all of the student designers were creating, trying to find a cohesiveness to the production, and then every night just rehearsing with the cast and getting it to the point that it is right now, which opening is tonight.
All right, and then your costumers and some of your tech crew, they're first-timers. How was that? What was that like?
It was absolutely wonderful working with them. All of the student designers were first time, and they had a lot of fun, a lot of energy, and so it was great working off of them because we were just so excited, and it showed, and it shows in the production. It really paid off.
All right, and thanks to Callie for joining us. The play starts at 7:30 tonight and runs till November 4th. Live from the muck, I'm Angelica Brackens.
Thanks, Angelica. Halloween comes around once a year, but one man dresses up year-round.
He's not a superhero, but he's a role model to many, as Mandy Ewald found out in this week's Yote Report.
The legacy of Benjamin Franklin is one that will never be forgotten. He died over 200 years ago, but his ideas were shared last week here at St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Vermilion by a traveling performer, Mr. G. Robin Smith. Smith is an actor, an instructor, and among many things, a playwright. But there's one thing that sets him apart. He has an alter ego.
Welcome. It is a delight to be here, but at my age, well over 300, it's a delight to be anywhere.
He is Ben Franklin, performing in front of hundreds of audiences across the country in his knickers and bifocals.
Ben was the original American, because he was the first one that the world knew to be an American. He was the first one that they saw or had any chance of actually meeting, and he was the most famous. So I think we could do a lot worse than to pattern ourselves after him.
His type of performance is known as Chautauqua, and he says it makes for a memorable experience for his audience.
Without an audience, what I do doesn't exist. I must engage, and the audience feels like they've been part of the art.
Job security is a big problem for actors, and Smith says there are many benefits to having your own character.
If you have a Chautauqua character in your repertoire, then you can immediately come to a church, come to a library, come to a school, and continue to keep working. But really, what I get out of it is the ability to contribute, like Franklin, to be of use.
For the Yote Report, I'm Mandy Ewald.
Smith's performances are available for rental or purchase on Amazon. Beer and corn dogs are the new issues in an ad for South Dakota's lone spot in the U.S. House of Representatives. Incumbent Representative Kristi Noem's new ad has gone viral. It highlights her work in South Dakota while opponent Matt Varilek was abroad. Noem also points out a party Varilek threw in Washington serving beer, corn dogs, and Jägermeister. But both sides say they're benefiting from the viral ad. Varilek says many of his opportunities to study abroad came from Yankton High School and area scholarships.
Sports. The volleyball team plays SDSU on Friday, and Taylor Moore thinks the FSC and the FCS, and FBS should get together. But first, sports headlines. Courtney?
Thanks, Abby. The men's and women's cross-country team finished second at the Summit League Championships on Saturday. Jeff Metler placed second individually, and Megan Hilson placed sixth individually. 7 Coyotes earned all conference honors at the event. 9 youth football coaches in South Florida are facing felony charges for high-dollar gambling on Little League football. The men coached boys ages 5 to 15. Among the coaches are ex-convicts with criminal backgrounds, including drug possession, assault, and theft charges. If convicted, the men could face up to 5 years in prison. And the volleyball team will face South Dakota State this Friday at the Dome. Regular seating tickets have sold out, but there will be overflow seating available. Students attending Friday's match need to pick up tickets at the Dome ticket office before the game. Those are your headlines.
Thanks, Courtney. The USD men's and women's basketball teams are gearing up for their first Division I season, with the men bringing 25 years of coaching with head coach David Boots, and the women bringing a new addition with head coach Amy Williams. Both coaches say their programs are ready for the season to start. Yesterday, Boots said summer practices and Canadian scrimmages have prepared the team. Freshman guard Casey Kasperbauer says he's excited to play one game at a time.
The only goal that we have is to win that next game on our schedule. So right now we're looking at November 14th, and as soon as that game's over, we're going to look at the next game and we're going to try our very best to win.
Coach Williams says the women have new recruits and seasoned players. Senior guard Alexis Yackley says Williams' coaching style is going to push the team.
Like I said, you kind of adapt to what your team is, and, she wants to play more of kind of an up-tempo, up-style kind of game, which is great with me because I'm all about running and playing 94 feet end-to-end.
The women kick off their season next Friday at Cleveland State. The men begin theirs on November 14th against Wyoming. The Flag Football Intramural Championship was last week. Cassie Bartlett joins us live in the muck with the captain of the winning team. Cassie?
Thanks, Abby. I'm here with Stephen Bollinger, who is a member of the Delta Tau Delta Flag Football team. Thanks, Stephen, for being with us today. Was this the first championship Delta Tau Delta has won in intramurals?
This is actually the second championship that the Delta Tau Delta fraternity has won in the Greek League in the last 3 years, so it was very nice.
Are you selective with your players to make you so good?
We do have some of our top athletes in our fraternity, but we try to give credence to those that have played in high school. So.
And you said you're a member of the Greek League, so you play other fraternities as well?
Yes, we actually have all of the fraternities have an opportunity to play in the league, and some of the fraternities even have more than one team, and we had 2 teams this year. So.
Do you hold any practices to come up with plays?
Our team didn't take the time to make any plays. We just kind of go out and play and have fun, so it's really nice.
What do you think made your team the best this year?
We had a really good quarterback, strong defense, and we had some tall receivers, so it was really nice.
Do you participate in other intramurals throughout the year?
I actually participate in recreation volleyball and indoor and outdoor soccer.
What about Delta Tau Delta? Do you usually have teams for all of the sports that go on?
We do a lot of sports together, volleyball and basketball especially, and we'll team up with sororities for some of the recreational sports. So.
Well, thank you, Stephen, for being with us today, and congratulations on your win. Right now, 3-on-3 basketball and co-ed basketball are going on in intramurals. Live at the Muck, I'm Cassie Bartlett.
Thanks, Cassie. On this week's More Sports, commentator Taylor Moore wants the FCS and FBS to get together.
I've got a huge problem with the difference between FBS college football and FCS college football. They're both called Division I football, but they're different in the fact that FBS has a bowl game series and FCS has a playoff series. Here's the deal. Back when FCS used to be called D1AA, there was a difference in the type of coaches and recruits an FCS school could get compared to an FBS school. FBS schools are larger schools. They tend to have more money than FCS schools, but things are changing. More FCS schools are getting better recruits, better coaches, more money, and in some cases beating FBS teams who are supposed to be bigger and better. Here's my biggest question. If FBS and FCS teams are beginning to lose the gap between them, shouldn't they be grouped together? What if all FCS teams became bowl eligible? Or what about if every FBS team had to play in a playoff series? They're all Division I, right? Talent is talent and effort is effort. And at the end of the day, all that matters is if two teams can compete against each other. For More Sports, I'm Taylor Moore.
Thanks, Taylor.
TV shows where comedians make fun of internet videos or reality shows have become pretty common.
On this week's commentary, Chrissy Sorensen looks at USD through the eyes of Tosh.0.
Snow is falling, UGG boots are sold out, and Walmart's selling its cheapest Christmas lights in town. We all know what that means. It's Halloween. Last week, Vermillion experienced its first light snow of the season, but it still wasn't enough powder for those planning to be Whitney Houston zombies for Halloween, but it's still enough just to cover up the coyote statue. In this week's video breakdown, we take a look at the Muck expansion, which is surprisingly ahead of schedule. Wow, and I thought breaking ground was a figure of speech. You would think with the $1 million budget, they could at least give the guy an actual shovel. Hey, if these guys were efficient, they wouldn't be digging up the green space they just laid 2 years earlier. I knew I should have still parked my car there, but you can't interrupt that guy's awesome pre-dig ritual. At least somebody's excited for Chick-fil-A. Maybe if football fans had that kind of enthusiasm, the student section wouldn't look like a Nickelback concert by halftime. Could borrow NDSU's secret of the Superman in a jockstrap. Still, it's hard to cheer for a team that can only win one game. And for that, we thank you.
Thanks, Chrissy. Many worry about the end of the world on December 21st, but what about a zombie apocalypse?
This week on Out and About, we asked USD students where they would hide in the event of a zombie world takeover.
Probably in like some type of prison.
In a meat locker? I would hide in a castle, in the trenches. I'd have like a bunch of sharp objects pointed up.
I would probably hide in my bathroom downstairs.
In a underground nuclear silo.
In the bathroom with a mattress. I'd probably hide in a Walmart just for a surprise.
In my washer and dryer machine because I would be safe there and I can fit.
Well, clearly my basement.
I wouldn't hide, I'd go toward it.
I'd hide in the tunnels under Old Main. Deep Canadian woods.
I'd probably hide in the bathroom because zombies don't use the bathroom, so why would they go into the bathroom?
I would hide in an underground, concealed, locked, confined area where I have all my storage stuff. I got swords, I'd take them on. I would hide in my grandparents' ranch. No one ever goes up there.
I'd probably get some friends together and go hide inside like a Shields or some kind of sporting goods store.
I would hide in a chest freezer.
Probably in the arms of a loved one.
A new issue of the Volant Hit newsstands today. Pick up your issue to read about the upcoming presidential election and Congress to campus. Those stories and more can be found on volantonline.com. You can also check out the Coyote News link on the page. That's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to check us on Facebook and Twitter. Next week, we'll have the results of the volleyball game against State. In the meantime, have a great night and a good weekend. We'll see you next time.